Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. We have some breaking news from Nancy Pelosi, President Biden, and even Chuck Schumer about the fourth stimulus check that could be sent out before the end of the year. So if you want to stay up to date on the latest stimulus check information, be sure to stay until the end of this video. As I said everybody, we have a ton of news to go over in today's video. Here's what I want you to know, and so I'm not going to waste anybody's time. Here's the most important things that I want you to know first. Well, the White House has begun to tell government agencies to prepare for a shutdown. That's even though Jen Psaki told reporters President Biden is doing all that it takes to avoid a government shutdown. Everybody, with a lot of deadlines and much work to accomplish, it looks like the federal government is about to shut down. And the thing is that this can hold back our stimulus checks from being sent out. And of course, it can also prevent the Social Security recipients from receiving monthly Social Security payments. Everybody, President Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer must avoid a government shutdown. They just came back from an August recess, and there's no need for the government to shut down, especially when Americans are still in need of financial assistance.
I think the part of what has to happen here as well. For example, let's talk about my economic plan. The economic plan, you all are always, and understandably, legitimately, citing polls. Every element of my economic plan is overwhelmingly popular.
So Janet Yellen has just announced that the government could pull back from issuing new stimulus checks. And this is bad news for our seniors. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen made headlines this week with her suggestion that the government checks could run dry if Congress doesn't raise that ceiling. Janet Yellen added that nearly 50 million seniors could stop receiving Social Security checks for a time. And the House of Representatives has passed a bill to temporarily fund the government and suspend the debt limit. However, that legislation could fail in the Senate. If lawmakers cannot come to an agreement, the government would shut down on October 1st. Social Security beneficiaries may breathe a sigh of relief to know that the program's funds will still be there to pay their checks, regardless of what happens with the debt ceiling negotiations.
But the problem is, with everything happening, not everybody knows what's in that plan. For example, all those women out there who are not able to go back to work because they have a dependent grandparent or a parent, or they have a dependent child.
Now there is a possibility that a government shutdown could delay how fast that money reaches people, because Social Security was created in 1935 and has never missed a benefit payment. One key reason why that will change is because of the pension plan. According to the Social Security Administration, the asset reserves of the combined trust funds were just $2.9 trillion as of the end of 2020. At the same time, 175 million workers were contributing payroll taxes to Social Security. Employees pay 6.2% of their wages, which is matched by employers, on up to $142,000 in income as of 2021. Self-employed workers pay 12.4% as well. According to the recently released Social Security Trustees Report for 2021, even if the debt ceiling does not get raised, funds from the payroll taxes would still continue to come to the government. Those contributions go toward the program's trust funds and used to pay benefits. Social Security's combined trust funds for retirement and disability can continue to pay full benefits until 2034. At that point, 78% of promised benefits will be payable, and not everyone agrees on what consequences could be for Social Security. The National Committee to Preserve Social Security and Medicare recently warned that benefit checks could be delayed for weeks or even longer. That's if Congress fails to either raise or suspend the debt limit. And a senior policy advisor said that it is not a straight yes or no answer as to whether that ceiling will affect Social Security's funds and ability to pay benefits. The uncertainty is due to the fact there is now more money going out in payments than there is coming in through payroll taxes. To accommodate that, the program is drawing funds from its trust funds, which include treasury bonds that are used to pay benefits. So if Congress is unable to reach an agreement in time to prevent a government shutdown, there is the possibility that could delay distribution of the money for another reason, and that's because of the lack of government workers. High premiums can really strain a family's budget, and it stings even worse once you know how much of your money is not spent on medical care. Between 25 cents and 33 cents of every dollar is spent on healthcare in the United States. It goes to administrative costs like billing and marketing. Fortunately, the federal government is trying to force companies to be more efficient, making them issue rebates when they don't spend enough on care. If your company has been charging too much, you can receive a check for hundreds of dollars by the end of the month, while insurers can collect the same amount in premiums every month. How much they spend will vary based on the claims that are submitted. To ensure health insurers don't pocket the extra cash or splurge on marketing, the Affordable Care Act enforces medical loss ratio requirements. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I truly appreciate everybody's amazing support. Now, if you have any more questions about the fourth stimulus check, leave them in the comments below.
Needs help, or they can't find daycare, or they can't find, look at what's happening. Well, there's a solution. There's a solution in the proposal that I put forward, and the plans we're now debating in the United States among ourselves, and they're debating in Congress, is the plan, the essence of the plan that I laid out in the beginning. And so I'm confident that at the end of the day, we're going to be able to get that done. The second point I'd like to make, we talk about price tags. It is zero price tag on the debt. We're going to pay for everything we spend. So they say it's not, people understandably. Well, you know, it started off at 6 trillion, now it's 3.5 trillion, now it's going to be 2.9. It's going to be zero. Zero, because in that plan that I put forward, and I said from the outset, I said, I'm running to change the dynamic of how the economy grows. I'm tired of trickle down. Trillionaires and billionaires are doing very, very well. You all know it, you've all reported it. And in the middle of this crisis, but hardworking people and middle-class people are getting hurt. And so I provide for example, a tax cut. If you have a child, you get a refundable tax credit. It's reduced hunger in America by 40%, literally for children. You have the whole notion of being able to provide for daycare for your children, getting people back to school, etc. It's all paid for. It's all paid for. But a lot of these are flat tax cuts that exist within my proposal. And they're being calculated as if the cost of the child care tax credit is a cost to the government. It's not. It's reducing taxes, not increasing taxes. Now, part of the problem is I had hoped, I hadn't planned on, although I kind of anticipated it might happen, I hadn't planned on the 178-mile top winds, hurricanes going to Louisiana, and 20 inches of rain in New York and New Jersey, and an area as big as the state of New Jersey burning down in the west. And again, I'll just conclude by saying this is a process, and it's going to be up and down. That's why I don't look at the polls. Not a joke, because it's going to go up and it's going to go down, it's going to go up. And hopefully at the end of the day, I'll be able to deliver on what I said I would do. One, bringing the country together on a few and very important things like on infrastructure, getting us in a position where we can have some coherent policy relative to foreign policy where there's agreement, moving us in a position where we're able to actually generate the kind of change in the dynamic of